Hello, and welcome to
The Bad Seeds Podcast.
I'm Sarah,
And I'm Gordon.
and we are Bad Seeds.
We really are.
Uh,
So tell them how you came up with the idea of the Bad Seeds Podcast.
the origin story to this thrilling podcast that will have two listeners, and we're both talking right now.
Well, you'll get Chris to listen to it, right?
Um, that's optimistic, but maybe.
Okay.
Hi, Chris, if you're listening.
Ryan said he would listen.
Hi, Ryan. Woohoo! So the origin is that Gordon and I are Harry students.
Harry's a professor at Willamette Law School
And he would give us writing assignments.
that we didn't want to do.
And when Harry gives you a writing assignment, he doesn't really give you hints or instructions until about the class before the assignment's due.
Unless you catch him in the library
And so Gordon and I would find ourselves at the library,
and waiting for him to show up.
and he finally would. But in that time, were we working on our assignments until Harry showed up?
No, of course we weren't.
No, because we're bad seeds. And so we invented this imaginary podcast.
And we really blew a lot of our gold on the imaginary podcast. So just imagine a bunch of really funny stuff that we said.
I apologize to the masses if only we had recorded then. But magically, we have some follow through.
Right?
And
We found the one thing that Harry's assignments actually allowed us to do was everything other than Harry's writing assignments.
so here we are now.
A problem we had, right, was trying to figure out what we would talk about. So Sarah loves Gilmore Guys.
I do.
But see, they have a thing, right? They're guys that talk about Gilmore Girls, and it's funny.
And Gordon and I don't have Gilmore Girls to talk about.
Right. Well, we do, but we can't just talk about all of them because there's someone that does that. And there's Buffy people and everything else. So we decided that we'll, steal from them.
Knitting even.
Right. By, just talking about some of everything.
Yes. So welcome to the melting pot of the podcast world.
There probably will be a lot of Joss Whedon because we both know and love Joss Whedon.
Yes.
And Sarah knows more Buffy than me. She has proven to me several times in a row.
But we are also both very passionate about Hamburger Helpers, so you'll probably hear that too.
I mean, love, passion, commitment, it's all the same.
God, I really want some Hamburger Helper.
Okay, I bought I don't drink milk ever, just by itself.
Right.
Like chocolate milk, but not milk. And so I got I was like, oh, I'm going to get some Hamburger Helper. And they have a 2-pack, right? And so I got the hamburger, and I was like, oh, I'll go ahead and buy some cereal, and I'll get a whole gallon of milk. Because it's never quite enough, half a gallon's never quite enough.
Right.
And so I have the leftovers, I have until the 18th, the leftovers of the gallon of milk. I'm like, I'll go and get Hamburger Helper.
Get some more Hamburger Helper.
And I've been meaning to go to the store for 3 days.
Get on it.
So Saturday morning.
It's the freaking weekend, baby. You're going to buy you some milk.
Yeah, no,
Not
I've
milk,
got the
Hamburger
milk.
Helper.
Everything else, yeah.
Going to buy you some fun, and fun is defined as Hamburger Helper.
The whole freaking box.
So we are going to focus this episode, unlike our ramblings in the library.
Right. Actually, this is a dumb question, but
Okay.
we have no standards here. What's your favorite flavor of a Hamburger Helper?
Ooh, great question. I'm going to go with lasagna because it
Out of the box.
I'm trying to think of the words to describe its deliciousness. It's the most versatile because you can add the most extras to it, and it takes to the extras really well, and that's why
3 cheese.
delicious.
Yeah.
They're all delicious. Who am I kidding though? They're so good.
I've never had stroganoff, and it's not even stroganoff's fault. It's just I first heard of stroganoff when I was 13. And so stroganoff is sort of white and creamy, and it sounds like stroking off.
You'd think you'd be all about it, though. You'd be like, if I eat
Not
this,
to eat it.
I don't know. I feel like it'd put you in the mood.
So we're saying it's an aphrodisiac. So what
Yes.
I should do is, if I ever can convince a different girl to come over, be like, oh, and our meal today.
A romantic meal of stroking off.
Right. So you're in the mood now, right? Subliminal message.
Yes, light some candles and then some stroking off hamburger helper.
Put on a little bump and grind.
Yes. Oh, Gordon and I also share a passion for R. Kelly, but 2 songs.
Wait, I Believe I Can Fly. 3.
Okay, 3 songs. So
I really like Trapped in the Closet.
Okay, neutral about that, but shout out to R. Kelly if you're listening. It's gonna be a miracle if this is ever uploaded anywhere. To be honest.
Right. No. So it's like first you get the whatever, then you get the whatever, then you have the listeners.
Yes.
So I think we've already expended $40 on this, which is about $40 more than I wanted to.
Yes, we are. This is to prove to you how committed we are to this podcast. We shelled out cold hard cash.
Each $40 each.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Committed.
So I think first we have to get listeners.
In an asylum.
First we have to get listeners. Then we learn how to edit.
Yes.
Then we get more listeners.
Yes.
Then we get actual equipment.
Right.
Yeah.
So right now we are that list where it's like buy podcast equipment and then the screen is covering up step 2 and then step 3 is take over the world.
Well, step 1 is buy podcast equipment, and we stopped at step 0.5, which was can we find something that approximates it.
Oh. Okay, so we haven't even gotten to step 1 yet, so I don't know how we're going to get to step 3.
Yeah.
Which is take over the world.
I thought, no, step 3 is question mark, and then step 4 is profit.
Oh, wait, then what's step 2?
Get listeners?
Wait, do we want to profit or do we want to take over the world? Oh, am I conflating that with Pinky and the Brain?
Well, it's the same thing every night. Although, I mean, enough money.
You could take over the world.
I just really want to be able to pay off my student loans. It's either that or hustling pool.
Oh, I thought you were just going to say hustling the streets.
Right. No, I am not street enough to do that. I'm not good enough at pool to hustle pool either, and my advancement is not coming along as I had hoped.
You've got a pool table across the hall.
It's a pay pool table. Which is sad.
Committed to your craft, you would invest the money and then take the money.
Right. No, what I actually have thought about doing a few times is just either trying to see if they sell them somewhere or fashioning out like little cups that I can stick in through the pockets.
So the balls can't fall in.
So the balls can't fall in, and I can just use my own set.
I like it.
And yeah, I just feel like someone that lives here or the property manager guy would get pissed.
But would they know?
Right, it would be if I have the bad luck.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, speaking of
But you could just show that you were playing with your own balls and you didn't want to lose them.
Yeah, have the box that it came with or whatever. So I'm surprised. I wonder if they're actually going to get it by Memorial Day or what. But so the tarp is off the pool. You do not want to swim in it. It is nasty, all winter nasty.
So how many living organisms are in there?
I mean, living organisms there's trillions on our skin.
Okay.
There's
I mean frogs. Are there tadpoles in there?
I didn't
Tadpoles. I just want to go in a pool.
Right. I didn't see any, but I didn't look very close. I just looked at it long enough to confirm. No, that is definitely not swimmable right now.
Right. Oh, that's a shame. I want to go in a pool. I want to go swimming.
I will let you know when it is open to the public.
Whoop whoop. I'm the public.
Yay.
The public wants to swim.
They really do.
I can't go swimming. So if for some reason we magically get a listener outside the Salem area, I was in the Willamette, which is a river, and I've learned that I can't go swimming in there anymore because I was attacked by a fish.
Be clear. How big was the fish?
Huge. The fish was so big that you would take a picture of it to show off to people that you were able to catch this fish. That's how big it was. It was picture-worthy big.
So I wasn't actually there, but the fish does get bigger every time I hear the story.
No. I've always said that it was grocery store sized.
I guess Sierra was the one that told it the first time and didn't mention anything about it being.
I have a witness. I have 2 witnesses. One I don't know the name of. It was just some teenager with a guitar, so that could be any teenage boy in America right now, but there was some teenage boy with a guitar angstily playing by the river, serenading who knows what, God or a long lost lover or a future lover or future disappointment.
Could it have been the 13-year-old from the parkour place?
No, because he would have rescued me.
Yeah.
He would have rescued me. So anyway, so he's a witness. Don't know who he is, so he couldn't. Oh no, I can't say that. Corroborate the story. I have a really hard time saying that word. But we have a mutual friend named Sierra. Hopefully, she doesn't mind us name checking her right now. So she was in the river with me, and she can tell you that this fish was grocery store sized, and it was big, and it came at me.
Try to take a bite out of you.
It tried to bite me. It came at my face, and I screamed so loud that it let me go. I don't know if fish have ears, but it hurt me.
It felt the vibrations.
It felt the vibrations. I've never screamed that loud or that high in my life. I've been to many a haunted house and a haunted corn maze, and none of them has scared me as much as a fish coming at my face.
Oh, but I know you get into those. You like them, but do they scare you? Or
no,
do
it startled me.
They play along. You play along.
Startle. I get startled easily. Scared. I'm scared of many things, but a haunted house, haunted corn maze is not one of them.
Have you ever actually felt like? Because the startle is like a reaction that is almost completely involuntary.
Right.
Like, have you ever actually felt like in danger? Like, I know they have like L.A. and like bigger places will have like the haunted house where they can actually touch you.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had like the level like shit? Something might like I feel actually sort of like in danger.
No, but I was going to a corn maze. This is turning into like a Halloween themed episode. I was driving to a corn maze this past October, and it was dark, and the corn maze is like out in the country, and so I was driving on these country roads, and for some reason Google took me off the road that would have gotten me to the corn maze and told me to turn off onto this like backwoods road, and it was pitch dark. When you're out in the country, there aren't like street lights or anything, so it's super dark. It's a windy road, and I'm desperately looking for like some road to turn on. Turns out it's never going to come because I had already been on that road the whole time. And I almost drove off the road because it turned so sharply and there wasn't like any reflectors or anything. So that was like a really scary moment, and that was on my way to the corn maze.
The scariest part about the corn maze was
getting to the corn maze.
Yeah, so I grew up like out in the middle of nowhere, and I feel like I developed a sixth sense when it comes to like crappy gravel roads, because it does seem like especially bad gravel roads would be like, and 90-degree turn. And they don't announce it.
Right.
But I feel like it got to be something I'm like, oh, we're about to turn real quick. And I could notice it when more like city people just would not pick up on it. Like,
you become dependent on those signs and those lights.
I mean,
and pavement.
So I have no idea how true it is, but you hear about like kids these days, like nope, they're not getting driver's licenses and at all the number that like teenagers used to.
Thank goodness.
Right, but I wonder if like you're gonna have there's a whole generation coming up now that has never not had Google Maps.
Right.
Like, and there's always like the joke about people that will like drive off of piers because Google tells them to.
Right.
But I at least want to believe that that's not a common occurrence in the real world.
Oh, it's going to become one, guaranteed.
Right. But I guess the question is, will Google cars get...
Oh, Google cars are going to drive people off piers. Because they're going to be going off Google
Maps, yeah.
Wow. I can't wait for that lawsuit.
Yeah, well, actually, that's a big thing that's going on right now is they're talking about trying to figure out if you're in the car, but Google is driving, and the car hits someone,
are you at
fault, or is Google at fault, or what?
Interesting. Because you probably have some sort of duty to still keep your eyes on the road.
Which really eliminates the entire purpose of having a self-driving car.
Right.
Like, if you can't take a nap or chill out and, like, read, while the car is driving for you. Like, why don't you just drive yourself?
Right. I don't know. That's it. You're bringing up some interesting questions. I think a lot of people are going to end up going to places that they didn't mean to because they didn't know how to tell their car no.
Although I guess like out of all of the tens of thousands of miles that the automated cars have driven so far, they've been in like handfuls of accidents, but they've yet to have actually been at fault in any of the accidents.
I believe it.
Because people are terrible drivers.
Yes, they are. That's why I'm so excited teenagers aren't getting licenses.
I would never have been able to leave my house if I didn't have a driver's license. Like there was nothing within reasonable walking distance of where I live. So
I didn't want my license. I'm telling you guys. So I had my permit. It was fine. And I actually loved driving when I was like 12 to 14. All about it because it was illegal. So it was interesting. And then the second I got my permit, I had zero interest in driving. And I knew the second I got my license, I would just be doing more chores for my mom. And so that's why I didn't want my license.
I managed to dodge that. So actually, the first time I ever drove, I was like 12 years old. My mom had broken her ankle, and she had a stick shift. And it was her left ankle. So she couldn't shift. And so she was like, we're going to the grocery store, Gordon. You're driving. I'm like, what? But I mean, I get there without anything happening, which goes to show that any idiot can drive.
Mm-hmm.
And then I learned on a stick shift, and I was fine. I wasn't ever good at reverse. And so I get my learner's permit, and I learn how to drive, and I'm fine. And then when I go to take my driving test the first time, my mom parks nose in. And so I have to back out, and it's like a sort of a tight back out. I'm making hand gestures. Sort of a tight back out, and 2 different times I stall out, backing out.
Oh my god.
And so I don't even fully get out of the parking spot before he's like, yeah, we're done here.
Wow.
And then I come back like as soon as I can the next time around with an automatic, and obviously it's fine. But yeah, I can drive stick as long as it's only in drive.
There you go. I can drive stick. I just learned 2 summers ago, because my mom bought a 1960s Metropolitan turquoise. It's very cute. And I wanted to take it to car shows because I decided that I wanted to do car shows.
You have the most eclectic... Well, okay. You are either a 65-year-old man, or you have the strangest, most eclectic, like, list of interests of anyone I've ever known.
I'm a 65-year-old man.
Who also likes RuPaul.
Can't you tell by my... That's not a very manly voice. But anyways, so to be able to take the car to the car shows, I had to learn stick. And the Metropolitan is 3 on a tree, so that means that all the gears are on the steering column.
I hate column shifters.
And the car, like, threshold from first gear to second gear is going 5 miles per hour, so you have to quickly get into second, and it gets stuck between first and second. And if you get it stuck too many times, it actually just becomes so stuck that you have to open the hood and manually, like, I don't know, unstick the thing. I don't know the words. I hope Larry doesn't listen to this.
Well, if we get to 4.
Larry's my car guy.
Yeah.
He would know all the terms, but anyways, I learned on that, and it was really scary because I'm just learning stick, and it has to be on like the hardest car to learn stick on, and it's old, and it doesn't go that fast, and it turns like a boat, but it's super cute, which means that I have a ton of people looking at me learning to drive this thing. If I was learning in any other car, no one would notice. But because it's such a cute car, people are just staring at me the whole time, so everyone notices. And my mom, she's one of those people that she would be like the perfect person to, what is it, where like aversion therapy, like where you're scared of something and they just throw you into a pit of snakes if you're afraid of snakes.
Okay, yeah, it's like to get over phobias.
Right. Is that what it's called?
Aversion therapy, I think.
Yeah. So my mom does that with me. even though I'm not like afraid of driving, but I just really did not want to drive it. Like the car, like it kept stalling out. It's really stressful. And what does she do? She goes, "Oh, you're going to drive this to work." And it's like, 8 something in the morning. People are trying to get to work and I have to
Rush
drive
hour.
this thing. And of course it gets stuck because every time you stop the car, you have to put it back into first. And then you've got to quickly put it back into second. And of course it gets stuck. And so I pull over on the side of the road and I get a text message from somebody being like, "Hey, Sarah, saw you stuck on the side of the road. Just seeing if you're okay." And it's like, because they noticed me.
So it is not aversion therapy. That is the opposite of a phobia
Oh,
therapy.
just kidding then.
You're trying to get someone an aversion to it.
Oh. Oh,
That's
that's
like
what they
you
use
shock
with gay
people or whatever.
people
Yeah.
to make them straight.
It's exposure therapy.
Exposure therapy. Okay, so my mom's not trying to convert gay people to straight. She's trying to do exposure therapy to get you over your phobia of driving a stick shift. But the worst part was when I had the car. My mom, I had driven it to a restaurant and back, and I was like panting, like crawling out of the car, just so excited to be done. And then my mom says, "Oh no, this car needs gas in it. You need to take it to the gas station." I was like, "No." And so I drive it to the gas station. So I get the gas in there. I'm good. And so I've got the car into first. And I'm feeling confident that I'm going to get it into second. I'm feeling great. And what happens? A car on a highway, so the gas station's right up. It's not like a big highway. So the car stops, blocking the driveway. And so I can't get out, and I'm forced to stop. And I was like, am I about to be in a drive-by shooting? Like, they blocked my exit. No, they just wanted to take a picture of the car.
Oh my god.
And so then, and then they leave, and then of course the car's like stuck, and I can't get out. But I genuinely thought I was in a drive-by shooting for a second. But now I know how celebrities feel, and you know what? The paparazzi's evil. That's my lesson.
At least that's a good lesson for when your stand-up career takes off.
Yes.
I'm trying to convince her to be a burlesque stand-up comedian magician. She's not there yet.
Yeah, it's too many things to juggle. Also with school. I've just become really lazy, you guys. I'm a bad seed. I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, other than we're bad seeds, there's
Right.
that.
I was talking to a lady escape artist last week. She goes by Lady Houdini. And I went up to her after her show to talk about straitjackets, and they are under the impression that I am a magician. I didn't dissuade them from it, but I was just like, "Oh, I'm just really into magic."
Just into the scene.
Yeah, they're just like, "Oh, they're asking me all these questions." I'm like, "Yeah."
Is there a word for like magic groupies?
Ooh, I don't know. If there isn't one, what would you call them?
Ooh, dazzlers.
Ooh.
Let's see. Something about prestidigitation, maybe. I don't know. Now that I thought of groupies, I just keep thinking of cumber bitches. And that obviously doesn't work for magic. Although I guess
No.
tuxes. A lot of magicians in tuxes.
Well, I'm trying to look it up on Google, and all it wants to talk to me about is Magic Johnson.
He's a little bit early for you. He was not quite late 90s basketball.
No, he wasn't. Yeah, so I don't know that magicians.
Well, okay, they're illusionists, sleight of hand. What's other words?
Escape artists.
Right, but what's like other? Yeah, more words for magicians. Because it's got to be a play on that.
Maybe something about rabbits.
Right, bunnies have
Something
already been
bunnies.
taken.
But it would
No.
be perfect. Something bunnies.
Hat bunnies?
Hat bunnies. Wand bunnies.
I mean that almost.
Wand
I feel
worshippers.
That's funny. Lovely assistants.
Yeah.
Lovely assistants.
Okay, lovely assistants. I like that.
Okay. Well, anyways, you're a lovely assistant.
Witches?
That sort of makes sense, I guess.
I don't. Maybe. Well. Something. Okay, here's something that says, "Forget rock and roll. Jillian Jacobs is a magician groupie."
Oh, I like Jillian Jacobs.
Yeah, well, she did play a magician groupie in. Oh no, I'm blanking on the Burt Wonderstone movie.
Oh, that's right. That was a terrible movie.
I have it at my apartment.
Well, I thought it was a terrible movie. I'm sorry.
Well, it's okay. I love magic.
That was like the Jim Carrey, Steve Carell one.
Steve Buscemi.
Okay. But the other one was Jim Carrey, right?
Yes.
And he was like Chris Angel, but not.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
So yeah, are magic groupies mostly just into the scene, or are they like David Blaniacs and?
I don't know if I met any.
Okay.
Because I went to this thing last summer called Magic the Gathering, and it is in Colon, Michigan, and I recommend it to every person in the whole world. It's really fun. And it's a week where magicians come together and they do magic and they hold seminars, and I learned a lot. And I came in knowing nothing about magic, and I came out knowing 2 tricks with a rope. So that's pretty good.
I've seen both of them.
And they are mind-blowing.
Yes.
You hear that conviction. But I don't know if there were groupies there, because almost everyone there besides me and my dad were actual magicians.
Okay. Have you ever been to a Ren Fair?
Renaissance Fair?
Yeah.
Yes, I love them.
Okay. Because, I mean, you'll have, like, Rennies are interesting because you'll have, like, there's always, like, levels. There's the people that are in garb and are totally committed and everything else. People that like Ren Fair and, like, go, like, all the time and, like, really are into it but don't, like, dress up. And then you have, like, people that don't really know why they're there. They just heard about it.
Yes.
So you don't have that at Magic the Gathering. Like,
oh, no. You can't. There's no way you could stumble upon Colon, Michigan.
right. And so is that related to Magic Week?
Colon?
Right. They're both in Michigan, right?
Magic Week is in Colon, Michigan.
Okay, but is that the same thing as Magic the Gathering?
Yes.
Okay.
It's the actual term is Magic the Gathering.
Okay.
But the like short form is Magic Week.
Okay. The more you know.
But everybody check it out. It's really fun. It's really fun.
If you're in Michigan anyways.
If you're going to be in Michigan, or if you're in Indiana, it's not that far from Indiana.
What are you doing in Indiana?
Get out of there, please. We've alienated no one in our audience.
Right. I just remember
apparently Ohio, Oklahoma, some state that starts with an O that is not Oregon is also doing something shady.
I mean, Oklahoma's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But Ohio
is Oklahoma.
Yeah.
It is Oklahoma.
But Ohio is like weird stealth crazy. That's the thing. Like, people don't seem to notice. Like, you think like, oh, it's big purple swing state, blah blah blah. But then they do like crazy stuff at the state level. Like not, Arkansas level crazy, but yeah. North Carolina.
Yeah.
Oh, North Carolina. You used to be the least crazy of the Carolinas.
They got jealous. The South Carolina
Gets all the attention,
had
yeah.
all the attention for so long. For so long.
Right. Well,
they're the bigger state. They
Yeah.
thought they'd muscle out.
You don't want to see what North Carolina is going to finally do to get over the whole Mount Rushmore thing.
Mount Rushmore was supposed to be in North Carolina?
No, Dakota, North Dakota.
Oh, okay.
South Dakota is outshining them, right?
Right.
They thought they were going to have that whole Bakken oil field thing, and then oil, tanked.
Yeah. I really like South Dakota, guys. I love Deadwood.
Deadwood's so good.
I love that show, and I love the city.
Oh, man.
And the corn maze.
There's another corn maze.
Oh, I lied. It was the corn palace.
Okay.
And the doll museum. Shout out to the doll museum.
Never been to South Dakota. Actually, I think I might have cut through like a corner of South Dakota when I drove to Oregon from Georgia. No, never seen Mount Rushmore. I like Deadwood. Although, did you know that so the amount of swearing that Al Swearingen did is period accurate, but the way he swears is completely inaccurate?
I did not know that.
Apparently, at least according to stuff I read about it on the internet, so grain of salt.
So 100% accurate.
The amount is accurate to the period, but the style is completely inaccurate. And so they thought about doing period accurate cursing, but they found out that, in the words of one of like the people that was a showrunner or whatever, it would make him sound like Yosemite Sam.
Oh.
So apparently, Yosemite Sam had an absolutely filthy mouth for the 1880s. And so instead, they used modern curses to make him whatever. Which, I mean, as a translation convention, sort of works for me.
Right.
I have a whole thing about how I think translations should work for non-English speakers in movies that I will save for another podcast.
We'll bring it up. That will be our teaser for our next episode. Gordon's thoughts on translating accents.
Yes.
And speech.
Right. Like
in films.
Because the thing that bothers me is like anytime anything happened before like 1980, regardless of what country it's in, they're going to have British accents.
Okay,
like
you are teasing too much for the next episode.
Okay.
You'll have nothing to say.
We're done here.
Or if you want to get into it now, you can.
No, it's fine. I was going to say, like, ancient Rome, British accent. 1500s France, British accent. Westeros, British accent. Okay, now I'm
done. All right.
You're getting too much of a kick out of this. I don't know why.
I know. It's just you're like, I'll save it for the next episode, and now I'm gonna launch into everything.
Well, no, but my whole proposal is
okay. All right. So consider it still a teaser.
Right.
More to come.
No spoilers.
No more spoilies.
Never been to a haunted house.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
I don't know that it would be particularly fun for me.
I love them.
Yeah.
I love corn mazes. I love corn.
Oh, right. We talked about this, whether you were the typewriter or the rolling pin.
Right. Typewriter.
Yep.
Oh, I love corn.
Do you use the little
The prongs?
Yeah.
Yeah, if the corn's too hot, you have to.
You don't just power through?
No, because I put so much butter it would slip out of your hand anyway. I love butter. I love butter on my corn, and I love butter on my steaks.
Yep.
Oh, buttery steaks, guys. Oh, if you've ever had a steak without butter on it, you made a mistake.
You made a steak mistake.
You made a grave,
Mistake.
unbuttered mistake. Put some butter on that steak.
If we're gonna have the porn
Whoa!
pun game. We're gonna have the pun game. Micah should be here.
Yes. Shout out to Micah. We are slowly mentioning any possible person that may listen to this.
The theory is that eventually we'll get more listeners and maybe guests.
You know what? I'm telling you right now, they're not going to listen because they'll be like, we've heard all of this before about 15 times.
Yeah. Maybe we can at least get them to say they listened.
Yeah.
Like, go click the link.
Mm-hmm.
Like, put it on mute. You don't have to listen to us. Let it play through.
Yes.
Even grab like the slider and
yes.
just go all the way to the end.
Just let us know. Make us feel loved and accepted.
Just make the counter go up. It's all we ask.
Right. Well, should we conclude this bad seed
podcast
for the time?
Yeah, it was funny how like you almost started to say that this one was going to be about Buffy, and then I interrupted with like haunted houses or something.
Right.
Yeah. This is probably how they're all going to go.
Yes. Okay, so for our next episode, we will be talking about Gordon's theory on accents in movies, films, and possibly audiobooks. Who knows where it will go. And maybe we'll touch on Buffy. But, that's always going to be on the back burner because I could talk about that anytime.
This is true.
But clearly we could talk about any topic at any time.
Yeah. All right, so this was the Bad Seed Podcast. I'm Gordon.
I'm Sarah. Thank you for listening.